everyone, welcome back to my Craft Source YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about EasyWeed Stretch. So it's one of my favorite heat transfer vinyls because it has an ultra matte finish, it's super thin, and it's easy to work with, just like the rest of the EasyWeed family. Now, there has been some issues with some people pressing EasyWeed Stretch, washing it, and then the letters peeling off. And nobody wants to deal with that on hard worked projects. So I'm gonna get to the bottom of this today, and I'm gonna show you the proper way of applying EasyWeed Stretch to ensure that it lasts on your projects. So I have my Cricut Easy Press, my home iron, and my heat press all preheating. And I'm going to go over a few different ways that people are applying this and showing you why your projects are failing when using the EasyWeed Stretch. So when using a home iron, really it's pretty difficult to get the proper amount of pressure that EasyWeed Stretch requires. So on my piece of fabric here, I have done a few tests using the different settings of the iron and using a heat pillow to see if I can get a better result when using the home iron. So I've already done that because I wanted to wash this through one wash before I showed you the results. So I've used the silk setting with a firm pressure, with and without a pillow on the home iron, and I did a test using the cotton setting with the home iron, using a pillow and without a pillow. I've washed it, and I'm going to show you the results of that. It looks like all the results using the home iron have failed, unfortunately. They may not have peeled off all the way on the first wash, but I can see where there is wrinkles and dimples happening in between the fabric and my vinyl. So when using stretch, the home iron is really not going to be a good option for you because more than likely after a wash or two, the EasyWeed Stretch is going to fail and start peeling off of your garments. Now with the Cricut Easy Press, I've done a couple examples with it. So I've tried the Easy Press with a firm pressure at 305 degrees. I've tried it at a medium pressure with 305 degrees. And then I've also upped the temperature a little bit because I'm finding that the Easy Press is actually about 30 degrees off from what we typically want to see with our press. So I tested that out and did a medium press at 335 degrees with our Cricut Easy Press, and I've also did it with a firm pressure at 335 degrees. So I went ahead and applied that, washed this fabric, and the results show that the Easy Press has got a few fails as well. So the Cricut Easy Press has its own transfer pillow that we used. So when using the Easy Press, you want to make sure that you're upping your temperature from that traditional 305 degrees to 335 degrees when using the Stretch or any of the other EasyWeed products, because the Easy Press is showing that it's off about 30 degrees. So I had product failure when I did the medium press at 305 and the firm press at 305 with the Easy Press. I had product failure at a medium press at 335. But with the Easy Press, I did have a successful bond with the Easy Press set at 335 degrees with a firm pressure. So when I mean firm pressure, I mean I'm putting my whole body weight on the Easy Press to make sure I'm getting a very firm pressure on my EasyWeed Stretch. Alright, and then let's talk about the heat press. So you would think the heat press would be a simple solution and it would fix all, but actually there is still the need for firm pressure on the heat press as well. So the heat press, I pressed at 305 degrees. I tried it with a heat pillow, I tried it without a heat pillow, I tried it with medium pressure, and I tried it with firm pressure. And the results for that after one wash is that the firm pressure is holding up the best. So even though the medium pressure is showing minimal results of product failure, this was only washed once. So if I wash this a few more times, I can see where my product is starting to wrinkle underneath the fabric. And that's going to fail over time with the medium pressure. So I had a good result with a heat press pillow using medium pressure, but the best result is a firm pressure using a heat press pillow, and that shows no signs of failure at all. So that's going to be what's going to hold up in the long run. So since I've done this test, I would like to go over with you how to achieve a firm pressure on your press, just to make sure you're getting the proper pressure for using EasyWeed Stretch. So to begin with, let me go ahead and weed away my stretch. So I've cut this, I've mirrored my designs as you would with most heat transfer vinyl. Do you know how you can tell the difference between EasyWeed Stretch and regular EasyWeed? Well, what I typically do is I just peel away the corner and I double check the finish of the vinyl. So on that little piece of vinyl that I peeled away, I can see that this has an ultra matte finish, and that's going to be an indicator that this is indeed EasyWeed Stretch and not EasyWeed. Also, generally you can tell just by picking up a piece of EasyWeed and comparing it to the EasyWeed Stretch. It's a lot lighter of a material. Check out that stretchability of stretch. This is one of the reasons I love to use EasyWeed Stretch. So now it's time to give our heat press a try with the paper test, or some people may use a dollar bill and do the dollar bill test. But essentially what you want to do is take a piece of paper or a dollar bill if that's what you've got, and you want to place it on your press to where it's sticking halfway off your platen and halfway on your platen. That's when you're going to close your press and try to pull your paper out. So my paper is not budging. That means I have got a firm pressure, and that is the proper pressure that you want to use with your EasyWeed Stretch. So let me show you what this paper test looks like using a medium press and using a light press. So once again, make sure that your paper or your dollar bill is hanging halfway off your platen. Press down your press and give that paper a pull. So that's still a firm pressure. So we're just going to adjust it until we're able to get a little less tension on that paper. So there is our medium pressure, and then our light pressure. It's going to look pretty similar, except it's going to have a lot less tension on it than what that medium pressure had. So here we go. Press it down and it can pull pretty good. Alright, so we need that firm pressure, so let's tighten this back up. If you're using a heat press pillow, make sure your pillow is on your press to do the test with, because your tension will be different with the pillow because it's going to add some bulkiness than what it would be just straight on the platen. So let's do this test and see. That's a medium pressure, so I need to tighten that up a little bit. And there, now we've got our firm pressure on our press, and we're good to apply our vinyl onto our fabric now. So with stretch, we're just gonna place this mat side down, and then once we press it, we'll be able to remove the carrier sheet hot or cold. And our heat press is set at 305 degrees, firm pressure, and it's gonna press for 12 seconds. Now, if you're doing multiple layers with stretch, you only want to tack each layer for 1 to 2 seconds. And then you're going to subtract that layer time from your overall 12-second time that is overall needed. So if you have 3 layers, or let's do it with 2 layers, make it simple. So if you have 2 layers, you're going to tack 1 layer 1 second, the next layer a second. So that's a total of 2 seconds that we need to subtract from our total time of the 12 seconds. So our final draft time would be 10 overall seconds to get our final result. So now that this has pressed, we are able to go ahead and peel off that carrier sheet. Because with EasyWeed, whether it's the stretch or any of the other EasyWeed family, you can peel that carrier sheet hot or cold. Now there is such a thing as overpressing, where you get sort of a halo effect from all the adhesive oozing out of your vinyl, and that's something we don't want to see either. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, well, I pressed it until I seen the fibers of the fabric show through on the stretch. And that could be a bad thing, because if you overpress, yeah, you'll see the fibers show through, but also you'll see that adhesive halo around your vinyl, which pretty much means that all the adhesive has seeped out, and over time your vinyl is gonna fail and not be bonded properly to those fibers. And here you can see when we pressed at 305 degrees with the Easy Press with a medium pressure, the piece is missing altogether. So that is definitely not what we want to have as a result. Now here is our example where we did a firm pressure on the Cricut Easy Press at 335 degrees. And you can see that that did a pretty good bond and it didn't fail. So, you know, that's an acceptable choice when pressing your EasyWeed Stretch. However, you know, this is only one wash that this has been through. So I'm trying to see if I can see any wrinkles or unwanted puckering that could be from not bonding properly, and it seems like it's pretty good. You know, actually, now that I'm getting really close and into it, I can see a little bit forming there. So I really still feel like the press is going to be our best choice when using EasyWeed Stretch. So I don't know if that camera's picking that up, but you can see that little bit of wrinkling when I stretch it, and that over time could cause product failure, and that's just because we're still not getting a firm enough pressure that's needed to get the EasyWeed to bond properly to the fabric. So what does all this research even mean? Well, unfortunately, after these test results, it pretty much means that the only thing that I have had a success with is a heat press. After you've sent your shirts out for your customers or for your family members, or once you start wearing all that hard work, the only way to ensure that EasyWeed Stretch is gonna pass the test is to use a heat press with firm pressure and use a heat transfer pillow. So unfortunately, the home iron, the Cricut Easy Press have all failed with these results. Now that doesn't mean that I can use a press with the stretch on any fabric I find out there, because that's a whole different can of worms. So, you may have a jersey or a dry fit material that's been sprayed with an antimicrobial coating. So that's going to affect how your stretch applies to your garments as well. So although now we have ironed out what the best heat source is, the next thing to look for is, what fabric are you using? Are you caring for your product properly? So with stretch and all EasyWeed and most heat transfer vinyls, you need to wait 24 hours after you've completed your project before you wash it. And no fabric softener. That is a big no-no as well in the heat transfer vinyl industry. So if you have a customer who receives their shirt, washes it, uses fabric softener, you could have failure on your shirt. If you pre-wash your fabric and use fabric softener, then you're going to have issues with your vinyl bonding as well. But what we used today in our test is 100% cotton, pre-washed, no fabric softener. We waited 24 hours, and from the results that we see from our specific test is the only heat method that's going to properly bond your stretch and give you the long-term results that you're looking for is a heat press with firm pressure and using a heat transfer pillow. Well, that's all for today, and I hope to see you tune in again for some of our next videos. If you've not subscribed yet, please make sure you're ringing the bell to get all our videos, and subscribe to our channel so you can get all our videos as we post them. As always, I can't wait to craft with you guys again. See you around.